Hi.
I am sitting here with the one and only Jackie Chan, global superstar, and he is signing all of these books. Are your hands tired?
No, tired, but I'm happy.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm
really,
so
really
happy to hear that.
How do you feel?
Good. I'm excited. This is the first time I've done something like this before, a live signing.
Where do I want to go that I've never been? Oh, we're thinking about, not thinking, we're putting it in motion. I'm going to go to Indonesia on my Irresponsible tour this year. I'm excited about that. I've never been. And there's been a heavy demand for me there. So we're going to go. We're going to go to Indonesia and I'm going to make people laugh in Indonesia. That's how I roll. How do you roll? I can't make this up. Wayne, you got your Indonesia pants? I decided it about a good 3 weeks ago. You'll see it on the schedule soon, so I suggest you go get your pants for Indonesia. Because you're not going to wear them stupid pants. Where do you think Indonesia is? India. Yes, we out.
You can see that I'm signing it. This is not some machine scribbling my name. This is my actual human body scribbling my name. So, all right, there we go. First book, signed.
We have fans from all over who have written questions that they want to ask you.
Oh dear.
And they're also going to get signed copies of the book. We're so excited.
Yeah.
So you ready to jump into some
Yes,
questions?
yes.
Hey, we're live at the live signing.
To my mind, the successful feeling at the end of a book is not that you have done everything you could with the book, but that you've scratched the surface.
So it was a wonderful, it was a wonderful experience and a wonderful discipline in storytelling.
I'm going to start signing right now. I guess I'll sign in red. You know, red. I'm a Delta. Red.
Can you guys see that? See, he's a little smudge right there. So if you see a little smudge, that means Charles jumped on the book as I was signing it.
I don't mind doing signings because people really love a signed copy of a book. I know I do. I will sometimes sign a book to myself.
You were only 7 weeks old and ABC really wanted to get the new host in that seat and get things going. And I said, but I'm breastfeeding. And by the way, that was at a point like in 1979, coming up on 1980, you really weren't even allowed to say breastfeeding on the air.
I feel like this is something we kind of all need right now.
My life changed after my leg was broken in 1985. My world changed. I had the world by the tail. I had every material thing you could possibly hope for going for you in your life. And then all of a sudden, bang, in one instance, it was gone.
The only thing that matters is the love you give and the love you allow yourself to receive.
I'm healthier than I've ever been, only because I got healthy when I was like 40.
Thank you so much.
Got it. Hi there. You probably recognize this guy. I'm Ned Rust. I'm his publisher, the James Patterson here, the #1 best-selling author in the world. And
Did you just make that up?
I did some research before I got here today.
We are doing my virtual live book signing.
Live book signing.
This is crazy.
More and more authors are doing this. I think it's so cool.
Signing some of the signed copies that you guys can get at premiercollectibles.com.
You're going to be signing these books
Yes,
live
I
over the
will
next 45 minutes.
Hey, what up, this your boy? I'm watching myself. Look at that. I need to stop.
If you're OCD, how is this panic-inducing to
They're
you?
not
Like
watching
all
you.
these.
They've got a bag.
Yeah.
They've got a bag.
I'm inspired by your success. What advice do you give someone who's never found his passion?
Hi, I'm Judge Janine Pirro. You probably heard of my book, Liars, Liberals, and Leakers. I may look like Greg Gutfeld, but I'm not. Actually, this is so exciting. My 8th book, The Gutfeld Monologues, is out. This is fantastic. If you haven't purchased it yet, you're dead to me. But you still have time to reanimate and become my best friend.
Biggest pet peeve?
Yeah.
Men that talk to me with spinach in their teeth.
What can I do while at work to help lower my stress and improve my health?
One musician do you most admire?
I love you all, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.
Bye.
Much love. See you.
See you soon.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you around the world. Woo!
Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone here.
Bye, guys.
Say goodbye, Mary.
See you in the morning.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Whoa.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm James Duke Mason. I'm a writer, activist, whatever, a lot of different things. But I'm here primarily because I am the son of Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's. And I am here to participate and support my auntie Gina Schock from the Go-Go's. And I love Gina so much. She has not only been amazing to me throughout my entire life, but she's obviously one of the greatest drummers in music history. And you know, I love her so much. And so yeah, we're here to talk about her new book, Made in Hollywood. How's the book tour been, Gina? I know it's amazing watching all the photos and videos. It looks amazing.
It's been incredible. But first, let me say how much I love you, because man, I've watched this guy since he was a little baby, and it's like we're positively family, right, Dukes? We're family.
Yeah, we are without a doubt. Yeah.
My parents loved him. Anyway, I love this guy, and I'm so happy that you and I are doing this together because it's so familiar and comfortable. Anyway, back to business. The book I am super proud of, and I mean, I could not be happier with the way that it turned out. Considering that it like took me decades to be able to like really get it together where I could find someone, which is what I needed to help me put this book together. The thought of, I mean, I've been carrying these photos around forever and ever. And you know, I talked to your mom and everybody in the band, and everybody was like, Gina, you need to do a book. We need to get that out there. You know, you're the one that has everything. And I just had to find the right person. And I found this fellow, Steve Berger, and he helped me put it together. He came up, he's in LA, came up to San Francisco. I had all the photos all laying all over the place. And he was like, Gina, this is a treasure trove. This is incredible. We got to write a proposal and get you a book deal, because you know what? People are going to want to see this stuff. And, you know, I mean, I didn't know if anybody would really care, but I knew that I really cared. And I cared about these photographs, and I care about this band. And I just felt like it would be so cool, at the very least, to give the fans a peek inside my perspective. Someone in the band this is my personal property, and I'm going to share it with everybody. So that's sort of the way this whole thing came down. It was a labor of love. And I'm just still in awe of the fact that I have a book. It's like, who's the person that did that book? Who took those photos? You know, it's so weird. You know me, Dukes. I'm like, I can't get over it.
I remember coming to your place, your house years ago, and seeing I hadn't seen the Polaroids yet. Yeah. But I remember seeing like the Rolling Stones poster and thinking like, oh my God, she has so much amazing stuff. And especially because, as we discussed during the book soup conversation, the fact that my mom doesn't have anything, basically.
I know. She still has those lady heads though, doesn't she?
She still has the lady heads. Yeah. That's like the only thing. I mean, she has a few things, but not a lot.
There's a couple of things with her, but you know what? This is just who I am. And I'm not a hoarder, right? You could attest to that I'm not a hoarder, right?
No, your place it's gorgeous. It just has
everything has to be in its place. It really does. And it's just that these things are really important to me. I love being able to grab a photo, look at it, and remember everything that was happening. And you know what? This band has been my life. So, you know, how exciting at the prospect of like sharing this with everyone. I'm very sentimental person. I save love letters and cards. Every card my mom and dad ever sent me, they wrote a little something in there. I have everything, and anything from people that are important in my life, I just save it. And you know what? The Go-Go's have been just one of the most important things in my life, for sure. It's been my life. This is what I've done with my whole adult life. The band.
No, totally, and it's amazing actually that and perfect that the timing worked out the way it did. That literally a month before or less before the release of the book, you guys got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I mean, it's just it seems like the stars aligned for you, and that it all came together. Like, who knew that when you started working on this book, however many years ago, that in 2021 you guys would get inducted? It was.
I know it was. You're right. The stars were aligned because there was, like, we knew, I knew approximately when the book was going to be coming out. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, we weren't thinking about that. There was, we thought we were never going to be inducted, and so, I finally knew when my book was coming out, and then the nomination, and then Art calling us up and saying, "Hey, girlies, guess what? You're inducted." It's like, whoa, the timing could not be better. My book's out that week. So it does seem like it's all perfectly lined up at this point in our lives. And I'm so happy that there's time for me to actually come out and promote this book. And I want people to know about it. I want to share it with people.
Absolutely. I have to ask, because I mean, obviously I was there, so I felt very lucky to get to witness it, have a front row seat to the whole experience. But like, for you guys, what was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like? Being there?
Okay, so you were there, and you witnessed all the incredible things that were going on for this band. It was something that I will never forget as long as I live. That weekend is burned in my brain. To have all those folks there, showing such love and respect for the accomplishments of this band, made my heart explode with happiness. I was like, I can't believe this is happening to me, the kid from Baltimore, and God damn it, the Go-Go's really, it was time for this to happen for us. We deserve it. I feel really good. We do deserve that. Mm-hmm. And then being there and just meeting everyone, the night was so full of joy, and it was a big love fest. Everybody was so happy and running around, congratulating each other, hanging out with, you name it, from Dave Chappelle to Paul McCartney to to Davis. What's her name? Yeah, it's Angela Bassett. I'm Angela Davis. That's where my head goes. Actually, the house that I live in, you guys, Angela Davis did live there. Did you know that, Duke?
I did not know that.
I get mail at my house for Angela Davis.
Wow.
And I went
Two
to
strong women who live in the same house.
Talk in Berkeley about 10 years ago, and I went to it, and I told her, I said, you know what? I live in the house you used to live in. She's like, no way. I said, the majority of mail I get are from prisoners. Just sort of like, what didn't we? I mean, we always got a lot of mail from prisoners.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, back to the book and the
By the way, forgive me, just FYI, everybody. I have two uncontrollable things going on. I have the gardener outside, and I also have a dog here who may make some noise. So, like, I hope it's not too loud. But
I don't hear anything. It's all
okay.
cool.
All right.
It's all cool, dude.
All right. So,
that night was great. You were there. You saw everything that was happening. When Drew inducted us and did the cold cream and the sort of in honor of the first album cover, we were all teary-eyed back there watching her on the monitor, and it was just like a dream come true that whole night.
I was going to ask, just because I know a lot of people have asked the question. I mean, I know the answer, but what was the reason why the normal jam session at the end was canceled? Because I don't know if people even realize what was planned, because what was planned was going to be this epic finale.
Yeah, we all went up, we rehearsed the songs that we were going to do, and then everybody came back the next day we spent at least well over an hour rehearsing Tumble and Dice. We were going to do that in honor of Charlie Watts. And everybody, you know how at the end when everybody who was in the show, they all come up and we do this one major number. You know, and I'm sitting up on the drums, and Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters, the drummer, he and I are communicating back and forth who's going to play what parts, right? We get all that worked out. We spend all that time, and God damn it, the whole thing got cut because they were running late. And you know, that's TV, live TV like that, kind of live TV, which really, I mean, really bummed us all out, because you know what? What I loved about that is your mother surprised herself. She didn't think she could sing like that. She started wailing, and everybody on that stage looked at her like, whoa, and patting her in the back. She had a moment, didn't she, Duke? She had a moment when she was like, you know, wow, I can really sing like this. I can sing with the rest of the girls on this stage, you know, because she just always thinks, oh, I'm in the Go-Go's and there's a certain way that I sing stuff. I don't know if I can do anything a little differently. You know, it was a very cool moment. I'm sorry that didn't happen.
Well, I think, you know, that's the thing about you guys, as we've discussed, you girls, you know, the fact that, you know, you're all super humble. I mean, you know, you'll acknowledge the contributions, you know, but at the same time, you know, you're all very, you're very unpretentious, you know, not all about, you know, yourselves. So, I mean, but the fact is that each of you in your own way are incredible musicians and vocalists. I mean, you're all so talented.
You know,
you wouldn't have been able to do what you've or accomplish what you've done if not.
I know, if there wasn't something there, right?
Right.
And you know what? All of us, it's like when you put us in a room together, there's going to be action. Things are going to happen. It was like, okay, so last night at the Rizzoli book signing, Richard Gotterer showed up. You know, who produced Beauty and the Beat and Vacation. I'm talking about him, and then somebody in the audience said, he's here. Richard's here. And I was like, what? Richard Gotterer is here. And he was like hiding behind a stack of books or something. And I ran off the stage and hugged him and kissed him. And of course we hang out and exchange info. But Richard talked about making the record and about the first time he saw us playing at NYU. And he said, when I saw the band, you know, he knew that there was something special. He said it wasn't about any individual in the band. It was the five of us together that were so incredible. He believed he could take that raw power, that energy, and those songs that just needed to be touched up and make that into something big, which of course he did. And I love the fact that he really gave credit to the band, the Go-Go's. Wasn't any one of us, you know, it was just like, without the five of us, it wouldn't have become what we now know this band as, and the songs that we have, and, you know, the history of this band. And, you know, it was great. You know, him say it the first time seeing us, and then, you know, Miles Copeland had contacted him about working with this band, the Go-Go's. He was like, let me see him. When he saw us play, the deal was done.
Wow. I love that Richard showed up. That's amazing.
Oh my God.
And then he just happened to be there. Or it happened to, like, you didn't know he was going to be there.
No, I didn't. But you know what? Every talk that I do, of course, his name comes up because he played such a big role in this band and in the success of this band. And Richard is such a brilliant songwriter, an incredible arranger, and knows music inside and out. I mean, Sire Records was started by Richard and Seymour Stein. You know, they were signing bands like the Talking Heads way back when, and the Ramones. Nobody would touch that. But, you know, they knew it. They figured it out. And they would be at shows. They would always go to shows. They weren't like the president of a company that sits at a fucking desk all day. Those guys were actually at the shows, you know, getting their hands dirty and getting to know the audience that these bands appealed to, getting to know the band members and signing them. I mean, Richard was really a pioneer. Yeah.
I mean, they really did, you know, play a huge role in you know, not just in that particular time.
And that time in music, you know, I mean, Richard produced Blondie's record, and I mean, you know, when when Miles brought up Richard as to produce our record, we all kind of knew about Richard because we all loved Blondies, and then the thing was that we knew that he was a song man. And you can't get any better than to have a producer that really knows songs, and this guy did. This guy knew how to how to put a song together, how to pull it apart, fool around with it, and put it back in place as a hit, ready to be put on the radio. That's what he did with our stuff. He fooled around with changed things around here and there, and he made it radio ready. It was when he finished with it, that was something that you would hear on the radio. He knew how to do that. He knew how to make hits.
Wasn't it his idea to slow the songs down a little bit?
Yeah. That's the first thing. And you know what? What a very obvious thing, because there were these hidden gems, and they were called these great melodies, these great hooks, these guitar hooks, these great vocal melodies, these drum hooks, all that. But everything was going by so fast, that you didn't even you'd have to really know music to appreciate what was happening. And of course he does. And it's like, slow it down. Oh, wow. Okay. Now I can really hear that hook. Let it breathe. Let me understand what those lyrics are. But we were a punk band, and we still are a punk band at heart. We always will be. When we play live, I think that kind of shows. We're kind of rough on the edges there, and we like sounding a little bit gritty and not so perfect, and we're not about any big production on stage. It's just like we get up there and do our thing, and we bring the audience with us,
Totally. And in fact, it's funny, it reminds me of a friend of mine who's a little younger than me, so like in his early 20s, and this was 5 years ago, but I remember I brought him to one of your shows at the Greek.
Yeah.
And I'm not shaming him. Like, I get it. A lot of people in their early 20s just don't know. But I took him to a show, and before it started, he goes, "So are there going to be like smoke machines and backup dancers and stuff?" And I was like, it was pre all that, back when it was all about real raw talent, and it was meant, like you said, it was meant to be a little like gritty, and not everything needed to be slick,
perfect,
perfect. And even the reading the beat, I mean, and even though it sounds amazing, it still has a little bit of that grittiness.
Sure, it's at the heart of it, for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
so did he like us? Organic. Did your friend like the show?
Oh, he loved it. Yeah. But it was like not a history lesson, but he learned something about, because he was normally just into like, Beyonce, and I mean, as great as she is, and Gaga and all that, but it was just a totally different.
You know what? I think people that really love music want to know their history about music. Like, I know I did when I was growing up. I was listening to bands that were happening years before I knew about them. I like, I mean, really, I grew up in the late 70s, but I was listening to stuff that was like big in the 60s and the late 60s. I mean, which to me gave me such a great appreciation of how things have progressed and where music was in the late 70s, the early 80s, all that stuff. The history of music, the progression of it, I really believe when you know that and when you understand it, you have the big picture, and you understand how it moves, and it's kind of cyclical. It kind of goes around where, sometimes there'll be just like more vocal groups, then there'll be like bands that are really gritty and really, hardcore, heavy music stuff, and it changes. It really does. Then there'll be like a time where there's just like really hardcore dance music that people are listening to, and it all moves around, and what goes around comes around, and it seems to come back all the time. Things, I don't know. That's my experience. That's how I look at it.
100%. No, I totally agree. I was gonna now switch over to our fan questions, or fan and on the on the Premier Collectibles website.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you who haven't bought books yet, or a book, it's www.premiercollectibles.com/made in Hollywood. So let's begin. First of all, where did you get the nickname Bean?
You know what? My mom would call me that sometimes, and I think Jane picked that up, and she would call me Bean, and I'd call her Brain. Brain, Bean, Babe.
Right, I know the 3 B's. That's so cute. By the way, Gina's mom was the most amazing woman, and her dad. They were both just. I remember the first time I met them, and we were at the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. Yeah. Trump connection. I'm like,
yeah.
But I remember that so well, and they were just the two honestly, two of the greatest people I ever met. I mean that sincerely. Just I miss them so much.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they were my heart. They were my soul. They were my rock. They got to be around here somewhere, happy for what's going on. I have to believe that, you know. And they loved the band so much. And my mother, she was like the 6th go-go. She'd come on the tour bus with us.
More than any other. I mean, look, my mom's parents came to shows here and there, but your mom and dad were always around, and
they were really, really fans of the band. And my mom was completely unafraid to do anything or go anywhere with us. I would drag her everywhere, right, Dukes? I'd bring her up to New York. Come on, we're going to a club. She'd go everywhere. Oh my God!
Even in her 80s and 90s. I mean, I remember her being. I think I saw her last time I saw her, she was already. I think she was like what 92 or 93.
Yeah, she came to the Hollywood Bowl show.
Unbelievable.
Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, yeah. God, Mom, bless her. So
she was the one that first called you Bean.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
And I'm pretty sure Jane heard that, and then she started calling me Bean.
Oh, that's adorable. Let's see. I was gonna scroll down here. Okay. Hi, Gina. This is from Alexandra in North Carolina. Hi, Gina. Can you tell us the top 3 go-go songs you like to perform? You are an awesome drummer.
Well, first of all, sweetheart, thank you. I'm glad you like my drumming. It's all I really know how to do. So actually, I can do more, but
you're a great songwriter too.
Well, my style is like what it is drumming. I'm not a like an incredible drummer, but I am a good drummer. I'll take that kind of credit. I'm a good drummer. Now, as far as the 3 songs that I enjoyed playing the most live, I would imagine.
Can I take a guess? Just out of curiosity.
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, obviously, we got the beat. Beatnik Beach, and I'm trying to think what the third. Well, Beatnik Beach, by the way, I'll just say I've recently been listening to a lot because I mean it's such a. I mean, your intro and the whole song is just fucking. Excuse my language.
Yeah,
badass. It's just a great song.
We might be working that one up. I don't know. We're gonna see. You know, I mean, we're gonna when we get back in when we start rehearsing in a couple of weeks. We're gonna bring in a lot of stuff that we haven't played in a while. So I'm up for all that. You know.
So what are your
my 3? You know what song I really like to play is This Town.
Oh.
I don't know why I like to play the certain songs that I do. And oddly enough, we got the beat. Maybe because I've played it so much, it doesn't. I don't care how much. It's my signature song, for Christ's sakes. You know what I love to play, and I hope we're going to be doing this. Is Fun with Ropes. Oh, I love to play that song. It is so much fun to play. It's fast and furious, and I love it. So I'd say, you know, that's about it. Those songs, it's pretty cool.
Great,
fun to play.
Similar question, but Jodie from Chicago says, Gina, I think you're amazing. Your drumming and Kathy's bass playing got me hooked on the Go-Go's. I've been listening to your music for 40 years.
Wow.
Now that you know I adore you, some questions. Which Go-Go's recordings are you most proud of? I mean, it's just similar, but actually, aside from the playing factor, just which songs are you the most a fan of?
Well, you know what? I mean, obviously, I'm pleased with everything we've put out. It all has its value, and it was all what was going on in our brains, in our beings at that time in our lives. Those albums are a product of that, and I don't know. You know, I really like Return to the Valley of the Go-Go's. because it's so weird. You know, I mean, there's like, I don't know how many, like 37 songs on there. And I love that there is, on there is like cassettes of us at rehearsal. That's unusual, and really kind of cool. And then we put 3 new songs on that one, but
I love Whole World Lost Its Head. That's oddly like one of my favorite Go-Go songs.
that's a good one now that you bring that up. And the video for that's really fun, isn't it? The video is awesome.
It's just such a badass song, and the ending, it's so punk rock.
Yes,
and,
it is. Yeah, down, down, down,
yeah, I love it. Remember, I actually performed that on stage with you guys before, because like where I came out
and sung backing vocals. Yeah,
that was so much fun.
We bring you out on stage from time to time for sure.
And my dancing was pretty bad, but you know.
Oh, come on. You know, man, how lucky is that you're Belinda's kid? You get to come out and play with us and have fun. And you know what? We're just a family. It's all great. It's all good.
But I agree with Return to the Valley of the Go-Go's. I know you're a big fan of God Bless the Go-Go's.
I am. You know, God Bless the Go-Go's is one of my favorite records. You know, if I had to, my 2 favorite albums are definitely our first album, Beauty and the Beat, and then God Bless the Go-Go's, our first and our last. And I don't know. That's what I like. That's what resonates with me, I guess, these days.
And I know you mentioned, of course, Club Zero.
Oh, of course, our new song, newer song, Club Zero. That's perfect. It's a Go-Go's classic as far as I'm concerned. And I can't believe that it actually charted when it came out, which is like, wow, can't believe that happened. Things have really been going really great for this band. You know, Go-Go Land is golden these days.
It really is. And then, by the way, Jodie says, I hope you'll be playing Chicago soon. And
me too. Well, I love Chicago. We love playing Chicago.
Yeah.
Remember that festival? Was it Taste of Chicago or something? Or
I was there for one Go-Go show in Chicago, like a long time ago, like 20 years ago, I think. It was sweltering hot. I don't know if you remember that. It was like,
that's that outdoor festival, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. You guys had to have like fans blowing in your faces, and you know there was like I literally I think drank like 10 bottles of water in 5 minutes. It was too hot.
It's rough, man. That certainly doesn't get easier the older you get, playing in sweltering heat.
And for you especially.
It's not fun. It is not fun.
But we do love Chicago.
Absolutely.
Tracy in Brandon, Mississippi says, huge fan, love your work. Who would you say is your top musical influence?
You know what? There's not one person or one band that is my top influence. I am the accumulation of everything and all that I've listened to my whole life is what has influenced me. All that one big ball is floating around in my head, and everything that I've been exposed to, it all adds up ultimately in the way that I think about music, the way that I write my music, the way that I play the drums. You know, I mean, yeah, okay, I could say that this drummer influenced me, but it's so much more, you know. It's just many years of listening to all different sorts of music and leaving an impression on me, and thereby it influencing what I do.
Absolutely.
So there, everything, lots of things have influenced me.
Bradley from Port Washington, Wisconsin says, what's your favorite track from the House of Shock album?
Ooh, well, Middle of Nowhere is a really great song, you guys. I will stand behind that one because Billy Steinberg, who is a great writer, and this is a true story. When that record came out, Billy Steinberg called me out of the blue, and I thought, what the hell's he calling me for? He called me and said, Gina, do you have a minute? I just got to tell you a story. I'm like, sure. He said, Billy lived between LA and Palm Springs. He said, I was driving back to Palm Springs last weekend, and a song came on the radio, and he said it was so good, I pulled my car over to listen to this whole song. He said, and it was you. It was House of Shock, and the song was Middle of Nowhere. And I gotta congratulate you on a perfect pop song. And I was like, whoa, Billy. I mean, that I'll never forget Billy Steinberg saying that to me. Like, wow, what a compliment from a great, great songwriter. And so, you know, but you never know how things are going to work out. It's just unfortunate that when I put that record out and started to promote it, you know, everything changed the label. Everybody got fired. And so it was a bad time. It was a bad time at Capitol Records. And, you know, they just, everything fell apart. They weren't going to keep promoting it. They were changing it hands. And, you know, we want to bring in the new folks, and the new folks aren't interested in what's already signed. They want to bring in new artists,
Create
and
their own baby.
The next superstar. They want to discover them. They don't give a shit about who's already signed. So, you know, when Tom Wally told me that, he said, look, I'm going to tell you now, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to leave if you want to. And I said, absolutely. I went off this label. So that's how that whole fucking thing. Oh, sorry. That's how the whole thing went down, and it broke my heart. But
I don't think people realize, you know, I don't think people realize, you know, how much of an artist's, you know, not failure. What did I mean? My mom had 3 albums where, you know, I think people think, oh, Belinda Carlisle, she had a couple of solo albums in the late 80s, and then she, you know, I don't know, for whatever reason, she disappeared or whatever. It was largely because literally, I think 3 times or 4 times in her career, you know, when she recorded an album, either the record company didn't promote it, or in 2 or 3 cases, I think literally 2 or 3 times, just terrible luck, they changed, you know, hands in the middle of the, I mean, it happens a lot.
It happens a lot, and it's really unfortunate because the artist is the one that gets screwed. Here you are, the person that's making this company money. All these artists like sharing their life, their blood, sweat, and tears, you know, pouring their soul out, and ultimately it's a money game. Yep. And there's always some guy at the top, you know, making a decision about the bottom line. And you know, timing and all that, nobody knows. You can't ever know how things are going to work out. You just have to give it your best shot, and don't get discouraged. Yeah, you're going to be disappointed, but don't let it wreck your whole view of how you're going to move forward. You can't let those sort of things, you know, control you for too long. Yeah, it's going to affect you for sure, because you really put everything into the record. And
it is a great record.
You have to let it go at one point. So, you know.
Yeah.
I got to do that record.
Well, it's out there though. I mean, you know,
it is out there.
And it's great, and it stands the test of time. And you know, and obviously you've demonstrated on many different levels what a incredible writer and musician you are. So.
Oh Jesus, dudes, thank you very much. I appreciate that, darling.
True.
I'm still working on it. I'm working all the time. You know, I just want to get better at everything I do. I mean, that's all you can do, is you can try to get better at what you do. And you know, with this book coming out, I am like so surprised at all that I can do, you know, because like you get kind of fearful of things, of opportunities, like, oh my God, I don't want to be a failure, you know, in public. I don't want all these people to think, oh my God. And then, you know, an opportunity arises, and you just have to drop all the fear and move forward and do something that you are passionate about, and then let it go. You know, I mean, you're gonna try to put yourself in the right place at the right time, and you do your work, and then you have to let it go. This book was something that taught me, guess what? You can write stories that are interesting and funny. And, you know, I mean, my sense of humor is stamped all over this book, starting with the cover. You know, and then, hey, you know what? My photographs are pretty good. A lot of people, you know, I've had 2 gallery exhibitions with my photo, one in LA, one in San Francisco. And, you know, my one in LA, we sold out all the books, and I sold 19 prints. And I was like,
wow,
oh my God. Yeah, it's really impressive. Like Sam, the guy that owns Mr. Music Head, said, Gina, we've never sold like 19 prints at one sitting, and you know, one day. So there's things, you know, that you surprise yourself with what you can do, and you hope that it's going to be successful. The thing is, you got to just get rid of the goddamn fear. You know, that can't do that. Can't let that
It's out of
run my.
curiosity, like how, I know I should have asked this earlier, but out of curiosity, how long would you say approximately, literally from that first conversation you had with Steve where you laid out all your photos to now, how long was that?
It was a year and a half. Year and a half.
Year and a half. I mean, that's actually, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure it was a ton of time and work, but that's actually pretty, I mean, I'm not surprised because it is so amazing, but it's actually not as long as I think the good news is, you know, I'm sure when you put together the proposal, you know, people were like, wow, this is really going to be amazing.
Yeah, we you know, talked to several companies and wound up where we did because it made sense. And we felt that they would do the right thing. And everything's worked out.
But I mean, in a year and a half, I'm sure you had to pack in a lot of a lot of time and effort.
Geez, yeah. I mean, Steve and I were, because he's in LA and I'm in San Francisco, we were on the phone 5 to 6 days a week, you know, with 8-hour days at least. We really, wow. It was a concerted effort that was laser focused. It had to be, because you had to get all these dates and places and shit. You had to get that all right. And you know, I had to go through so many of my daily planners that I've kept since 1979. Oh my God, there's so many gems in there, Duke. You're gonna die. I'll show you some. I read some stuff that I'd written there to your mother, and we were hysterical. Because I mean, Nora, I'm just really writing appointments down mainly there, but I did have a lot of stories that I'd written down.
Oh, how great.
Some zingers, let me tell you.
I would so love to read it.
Oh my God. There's one in particular I'm going to read you. You're going to die. About when we were in England.
I can, but I also can't imagine. Sure
yeah, you can imagine.
I can't wait. Okay, so Caitlin from Revere, Massachusetts says, in the documentary, we're shown a photo of you with sort of an afro. Was that natural, a perm? This is a random question that Google has no answer for. You are amazing.
Do I look like a person that like my hair would grow like that? No. That was an experiment that went a little wrong, but actually I kind of got to like it because it was so not me. But those girls were mortified when they saw me, but they just sort of had to close their eyes and listen to how I played drums and then do a quick makeover, which I was totally up for. You know, Jane immediately grabbed me and cut all my hair off and dyed it black. And I loved it, you know? I mean, like, you know, Dukes, I
love that. I had never seen that dark hair, the black hair, short look. That was really cool.
Yeah. That's how it was for a while at first. I mean, you know, I had come out to LA on a mission. That was, you know, I was coming out there like strictly as a musician. I didn't care about what scene was happening here or there. I knew what I liked and I wanted to fit in somewhere. Where I wanted to fit in was wherever I was going to be successful. And when I saw the Go-Go's play at first, I saw something just like Richard Gotterer did that was, you know, that was worthy certainly of my efforts to get in the band and try to get things on a more, people to have a more professional attitude about what they were doing instead of just wanting to have fun. But what I've said this a million times, what they gave me was more joy in my play instead of being such an uptight person about, you know, oh, everything's got to be perfect. And, you know, I learned how to have fun on stage instead of being a freak about perfection about everything, you know. It was a good trade-off. It worked.
Absolutely. So this is, I'm going to ask the question because even though I know the answer, I mean, but also, you know, you and I share similar feelings on this topic.
Yes.
From Jonathan in New York, do you think the Go-Go's will ever record a full-length album again?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to say yes. I won't say no because I really don't know. It's
I mean,
hard.
I'm always, as you know, I've always been with my mom. By the way, my mom loves, loves, being with you guys. But I also know that, you and I want the Go-Go's to be touring together all the time because I love being around you all so much when you're all together. So,
Of course, it's like, who wouldn't want to hang out with the five of us? We are so crazy and so much fun when we're together, and we entertain ourselves and everyone around us. I mean, it's like a house on fire when we're together. But as far as making another record, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I do know that we are working on a project with like a major player in Hollywood who we are so excited to be working with. And if this comes through and works out like we're planning, there will be music involved in this, right, Dookie? There'll be music.
Yeah.
So we'll have to write some new songs and do stuff. And I mean, this is just, it's a very exciting project.
And I mean, I actually don't know the answer to this, and I'll be vague. But when do you think that might get announced? Do you guys have any idea?
Well, I mean, I think once we get the tour over with in the beginning, probably the beginning of next year, I think that we'll be having a meeting and there will be a schedule set up. I mean, that makes sense to me. I would figure that's how this is going to run, and then we're going to start taking it wherever it needs to go and see what happens. But I think it's going to work out because the players involved are hugely successful people. And so it's a lucky Go-Go's thing, but it's something that we've wanted to do for a long time. Right. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
So I think there's going to be some new music from the Go-Go's next year. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Just a comment, but it is sweet, so I'll read it out. Sunflower a Go-Go.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God.
From Portland, Oregon, says Gina Shock saved my ass last July 2020 during COVID. This was the second major life event that she has done that for me. Sunflower a Go-Go loves you. XO.
Yeah. I follow this fellow, and this guy is really special. I really care about him. He's a good guy, and he makes me laugh. He's got a great sense of humor, and he does love this band. Like, I mean, how can you not love that? And stick around, baby.
Yeah, because it is a
Don't go anywhere, okay? I look forward to his Instagram stuff.
Whiskey and Donuts. It says from Austin, Texas, says, do you have a favorite Edie story from the time when you played in eating the eggheads or eggs?
Eggs, yeah.
Like such an amazing, they said eggheads, but eggs. She seemed like such an amazing woman.
She was an amazing woman, and she was so sweet. She was just like an old lady that was having fun being a star of John Waters films. I mean, how great was that? I mean, Edie just had a thrift store on Broadway in Fells Point, and it was great because she just would sit at the front door as you walked in to the left. She would sit there with the cash register and then her cat Lovey, and everyone that came in they just wanted to meet her and talk to her because the stuff she had in her thrift store was really crappy. And then she had this woman Jeannie who looked like a witch, who was like her slave that waited on her hand and foot. I think she slept in the store. She had like long black gray hair out like this, and she never really talked much, but she would put on makeup in a really like doll makeup on a woman probably in her late 70s, big round cheeks and eyebrows that went up and lipstick all over the place. She looked like a crazy drag queen. And Edie would sit at that cash register and just talk all day to people that will come in and be so happy to meet Edith Massey, the egg lady, signing autographs all day long, loving her life. I mean, John, bless his heart, he gave Edie a second chance at life, and she loved it. She was just bathing in the glory of her stardom from John's film. She loved it. And as far as the story goes, the only thing I don't know. Can't think of one particular thing, but one thing that Edie always did that I thought was very funny. Whenever we were in the car together, she sat up front in the passenger side. Every single sign that we drove past, she would read out loud. Every sign. rest stop, restroom area, double lane, do not enter. And she just read everything. I used to get hysterical with this. She was such a trip, but ultimately a real sweet lady, really sweet.
I mean, it's just amazing when you think that. I mean, that in itself would have been or was an amazing experience for you.
Yeah.
So then for you to go from that, which was already sort of a legendary,
yes,
group crowd to be in.
Yeah.
And go into being the Go-Go's. So you've lived a pretty unbelievable, life.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know because of this book, I am reliving all this stuff and really, really in such a beautiful place because I am realizing once again that my life has been so charmed and I've been through rough times and all, but ultimately, wow, it's been a great life,
You've got a lot more to do.
I've met so many people that I only dreamed of meeting, and I mean, it's been great. And starting off with eating, not a bad start.
Not a bad start.
Not a bad start.
No. Let's see. Pepe, Scott's from Scottsdale. Gina, what's your most embarrassing moment ever on stage? And how about this? We doesn't have to be specific to you. How about just in general, where you were like, oh, something was going on, or but so it's a funny, embarrassing moment.
I don't. Well, I can tell you something that happens repeatedly, and the crowd probably doesn't know, but now I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell on your mother. I'm playing drums, so I'm stuck there. I can't move. And usually during the set, your mother will walk up behind me and she'll fart, and I can't run, and I'm stuck there. And she loves to do that to me. She loves that. And then she'll get out in front of me and smile, like, you know what I mean? She'll smile and laugh because she knows it's
so
stuck. Isn't that so your mom?
I don't think I even knew that. Oh, huh? I don't think I even knew that. Oh my God.
Are you kidding? Your mom does it to me all the time. And then I do it to her. If she's stuck somewhere, I get her back.
Then she's stuck somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if we're in a car together, I won't say anything, fart, and really get her, and she'll be like, "Oh my God."
Oh my God.
Or like if we're stuck, I'm not gonna go into all that. It's too ridiculous. But being like in an award show and she's sitting next to me, and you can't run or get up or go anywhere, and I just start laughing.
She has a pretty foul sense of humor, I will say. I remember once, not just a really quick digression, but yeah. I remember, you know me, I can get kind of uptight. I can be kind of uptight and all trussed up and conservative sometimes.
Yes.
But I remember we were seeing Billy Elliot on the West End, and I got so pissed off at her because she was eating like candies or chocolates where you would she'd suck on them and spit them out on the floor. She didn't spit them out on the floor, but she was like just being
probably
gross.
Spitting them into people's hair if I know her.
Yeah.
She's
I was just like, I was shooting in the middle of the show. I was like, Mom, you can't, don't do that. She spit them out into her hand and showed them to me. I mean, it was just so gross, but she is
so funny. That's why I love your mother, because she is cracked and she's the best. She makes me laugh constantly.
She totally.
All I have to do is hear her voice, babe.
No, the two of you are like the two funniest people I've ever met.
Oh my God, we have a good time. We absolutely.
The two of you together, exactly.
Is goofy craziness, right?
Totally. So let's see. We only have about 10 minutes left. But Lori from Blue Springs, Missouri, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Me. Yeah. I want to be me.
But did you know from what age did you first even contemplate being a musician?
11.
11. Was that when you saw Led Zeppelin?
That's right. When I was 11 and I saw Led Zeppelin opening for The Who, that was it. Wow. It was a done deal. That's all I wanted to do.
Amazing a show as it gets.
I know. It's a crazy thing. God, this is making me nuts to think of all this incredible stuff that has happened to me. Just from an 11-year-old, and that being my first concert, to me being in a band with Edie and the Go-Go's and writing a book, and I don't know, there's all these wonderful things. I'm so glad my mom and dad were around to see so much of this, Absolutely. And hopefully they're floating around here somewhere watching this go down too.
I remember there was a great interview that you did, and your mom and dad did in like the early '80s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Like
remember
a
that.
local, like Baltimore, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
station, and
Yes.
I mean, and I think, and not only the fact that your parents were interviewed, but the part of the interview where you said, which is so prescient now too, and turned out to like where even back then you were like how much you were like it means so much to me that we'll have girls come to our shows and say like I became a musician because of
Yes.
you.
Yes.
And watching that now, especially, and like how that is, even back then at the very beginning, it was having an impact, but now it's,
It's
even,
really, it's wide reaching these days. I could not be happier about that. I am hearing so many people say that we have influenced them, so many girls. Just to do whatever. Today I spoke with a girl and she has a blog and she had her radio show and all, and COVID screwed it up. So she's got blogging right now, or podcast rather. And she said, all of that I'm doing for the last 20 years was because of you guys. I thought if you can do that, then I can do this. And I was like, you bet, baby, you can do anything you want to do. Things like that, just it's so beautiful to hear.
well, I mean, it is amazing. Like, I know, I forgot where I read this, but I think the band that has come the closest, at least recent to sort of the all-female band that has come the closest to achieving matching your achievement, your number one album is Haim. I guess that's how you say
Haim,
it.
yeah.
And I mean, I think they had like a number. They're one of their albums, most recent album, I think got to like number 6. But I think they've said publicly over and over again. In fact, I think my mom told me. I just remembered this. My mom told me that not too long ago, a woman walked up to her somewhere here in LA and started crying and said that she was one of the band members from Haim. And saying how much of an influence, how much they loved you and loved the whole band. And so anyway, I mean, like there are a lot of they're a big example, but there are a lot of bands that are,
I know they are really good.
Yeah, they are good.
Those 3 are super talented.
Really good.
Yeah, they're around. Something's going to happen. I think the Lindas are going to do something. Those girls, after hanging out with them for a weekend and seeing how serious they are, they know their history. They know their music history. Okay.
They came to. It was funny because I remember seeing them 3 years ago at the Hollywood Bowl and seeing them out in the audience wearing their T-shirt, Go-Go's T-shirts.
Because guess what? Their parents said to me, we were teenagers going to your shows. And when we had kids, we started bringing them from when they were very, very little to all of your shows. And they know everything about the punk history of LA, everything, those girls. They are so wise beyond their years, and they are all taking lessons, vocal lessons, piano lessons, guitar lessons. They're really serious about what they do. And I guarantee you they're going to do something big. I feel very strongly about the 4 of them, that they have the capability of to make a mark.
Absolutely.
Not just as a band of girls, but just all the way around. I think they're going to wind up writing some great songs, and their performance is really dynamic and fabulous. And I feel real good about them.
They really are great.
Yeah.
Final question, but it's more kind of general, but it's a good one. Clint from Golden, Mississippi. If you could meet one person in history, past or present, who would you want to meet? And maybe we can make it more specific to like people that have just, that you personally, not forget, Mother Teresa or whatever, but just for someone for you who has been like, who you would really love to meet or have met. That
I don't know. That's crazy. There's just so many people that I mean.
Is there not someone?
I would have loved to be hanging out with Federico Fellini. Yeah. That's somebody I would like to spend a lot of time with, talking about film. Because as you know, I love film. And if I wasn't doing music, I'd be in film.
Well, someone actually asked, and I think there were so many questions, but I saw that. So I apologize to those of you whose questions we didn't get time for. But one of the questions was they asked specifically about horror movie, your favorite horror movie, but more generally, like what are your favorite films?
Oh my God! Well, of course, I love all of the, well, okay, I'll tell you one of my favorite, of course, Frankenstein, the James Whale, all of his stuff
So
is
good. Did you ever see a movie, by the way,
amazing.
called
He
Gods
has
and
one.
Monsters with Ian McKellen about
That's
James?
right.
It's a great
Okay,
movie.
so I mean, everybody knows Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. I think he did Wolfman or something. Anyway, he did a film called this old dark house that you have got to see with Boris Karloff.
Wow.
It is so perfectly James Whale because it's really funny. You know, he's always behind the camera going, right? He's always winking. It is, I mean, Boris Karloff you will be falling off your chair laughing. It's so good. It's just so good.
I have to watch it. I love
Yeah,
old
yeah,
movies.
because it's not that known, but it's. I actually bought the DVD.
This old house?
No, this old
I'll look it
dark.
up.
Instead of this old dark house, it's sort of this dark old house. This dark old house, James Whale. Okay. So and then of course I love some of my favorite because I love Dracula. I was way into Dracula before it was hip to be into Dracula. You guys, been into Dracula since I've been a little kid. I used to love all the rank films, all the 70s with Christopher Lee. He was the scariest Dracula.
This person specifically brought up Hammer films and asked.
Oh, Hammer. I'm sorry. It was Rank Corporation.
but-
I think owned Hammer, but it was the Hammer films. Thank you.
Hammer.
From the 70s. So great. You know, I will watch them. I could watch them every day.
They're really
When
great.
I was a kid, I was so afraid of Christopher Lee with that teeth and those red eyes.
Scary.
Oh, but he was kind of handsome and sexy in a way too. It was sort of he was the forbidden fruit. He did have sex appeal, even as a kid. I saw it, but he scared the hell out of me. You know.
Oh, totally.
So yeah, I was really big into that horror film, and still am. I love it. I love anything from like the 50s sci-fi stuff was all really kind of great, really hokey and funny and great.
I remember you and I watching, I forgot what movie it was, but like 5-6 years ago. Remember when you stayed over at La Fontaine for a couple days?
Yes.
And we were watching like an old Western together, and it was so
Probably.
much fun. It was great. I forgot what
Yeah,
movie.
I mean, we could just sit and watch old film and all day and have some wine and talk.
You
You know,
much better than that.
I mean, it's definitely something that I love.
Wine and classic movies and lay
You
on a
bet.
comfy couch. It doesn't get better than
bet.
that. We'll do it again.
Of course we will, because I need to come over to your place because
You
now you
should,
know
yeah.
I'm gonna be in LA starting the 1st of December, and I have a friend that I have stay at her place all the time now. It's great. I have my own
Wow, great.
studio apartment there, so it's really wonderful.
Fantastic. Well, let's do it. Gina, this has been so much fun, as usual. And I love you.
yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for joining in. This
Oh
has
my
been
God,
entertaining.
you guys! I just want to like shout and scream, thank everyone involved with my book, everybody that buys my book. And if you haven't, you should, because it's a good book, you guys. I'm very grateful for everything, and I want to thank everybody. And Duke, I love you, and I'll see you I'll be there in a week and a half or so. You know.
Thank you for
my
copy. I'm obsessed. I've read through it 3 times, and I have so everybody, please, it's fantastic, and I have it on my little coffee table here. And
right, it's like where it should be, because like anybody that walks in can pick that book up and open any page and take off from there, right?
It's amazing. It's so much fun. And yeah, for those of you who haven't bought a copy yet, www.premiercollectibles.com/made in Hollywood is where you can buy it. So, Gina,
I love you, baby. And I will see you soon, okay?
December 1st, we'll connect.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'll be down like a day or so before, but I'll be there for rehearsals, you know?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Have a good day.
Much.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.